Congress is giving Trump more war powers. Why? This is from Ross Story. This article, okay, all right, we don't need to know. After years of more talk than action in Congress, the Senate Foreign Relations Committee is poised to consider a new authorization for the use of military force that will replace the 2001 and 2002 war authorizations that have been in effect for more than a decade and a half. The following, the AUMF debate over the years know all too well that in 2001, 2002, authorizations have been stretched. So basically, that was when they gave George Bush this authorization to essentially do whatever he wanted, to order an executive strike and all that stuff. That's been going on. What is it? So what I'm looking for in this article is we all know that that's happening. How is this expanding now to more war powers for Trump? You know, the crazy thing is that Adam Schiff, of all people, who I'm not a fan of, but Adam Schiff actually had some proposed legislation to combat this. Now, he had that legislation for the wrong reasons. He didn't have that legislation because he recognizes that a president should not have that kind of authority and that aids the economy of war in a way that it should not. He did that because he hates Trump. I mean, Adam Schiff has become a parody of himself. If you wake him up from a cold, dead sleep, he'll probably just say, Russia, 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 Trump's bad, and then wake up. He's trying to be a comedian, and I can tell you guys as a comedian myself, the most annoying people in the world, in the world are wannabe comedians. They are the most annoying people in the world. The only people more annoying in the world than comedians themselves are wannabe comedians. I'm saying this as a comedian. So I'm being self-deprecated. So, all right, what I'm looking for in this article is where are they? All right, so what has enabled this kind of distortion of Congress's intent is the lack of an expiration date. So they're basically not doing anything about this. They're letting it go, and they've already expanded his spying powers via the FISA Act. And as somebody Bumpkin points out, they're not doing anything to slow this down. So despite these hard lessons over 17 years of expanding war, this is back to the article, and eroding congressional control over a power signed it to the Constitution, Bob Corker announced earlier this week he plans to release the text of his proposed new war authorization tomorrow. But we already have a pretty good sense, based on what's been reported for months, that his proposal will not only sanction the executive branch's 17 years of unilateral expansions, it will provide no new constraints. That's a shame, because Corker's actually been one of the few that's been more on the non-interventionist side of the coin, hasn't he? Hasn't Corker been more non-interventionist compared to other? I mean, he's kind of usually been sitting with Ron Paul in that regard. So that's a shame that now he's when push comes to shove, he's just going to expand Trump's power allegedly. Trump has no clue what his powers are. He only ran because the Clintons asked him to. How bizarre is that when you stop and think about it? Can America just stop, please? I wish. I really want, man. I really want that to happen. So Nellie's suggesting they're giving Trump more power that they can use. No, if it's just an executive strike by the president, that's all right. So here's what's apparently going on in this bill. As the bullet notes, the idea behind Corker's proposal is to sanction the use of force against all groups that the executive branch has already started using force against, with no operational limits. Cede Congress's power to decide whether military force is warranted against new groups in the future to the president, but provide a fig leaf of congressional involvement. So the president's required to let Congress know when he gives himself authority to go to war with new groups. He's got to let them know. Hey, we're bombing a new country. Don't worry, I texted Corker. I tweeted, I tweeted and I tagged Congress. Wow, this is heavy hitting legislation. Way to go, Bob Corker. Way to go. This gives Congress the opportunity to weigh in by providing expedited procedures to vote down the president's decision. But of course, any such vote would have to pass with a veto-proof majority to stop these expansions. Authorize the use of military force with no geographic constraints. Oh, hey, we can go anywhere we want. We can go anywhere we want. Who knows? Even in our own country. All right, so it looks like this bill is just kind of a whole lot of, yeah, don't worry, the president can still do what the president wants, and this is a continuation of 2001, 2002, which never should have happened in the first place, but it did. Why? Because 9/11 scared people, and the Bush administration used that to really pad the pockets of a war machine in a way that was over-amplified, even in comparison to the first time. Because they gave the president even more power than his dad had during the first Gulf War. And people let it happen. And the Democrats voted for it and the Republicans voted for it. And now they're doing the same thing. They're not even resisting Trump. They're not even resisting Trump. Hey guys, thanks for watching. That was a clip from Get Your News On with Ron, the world's first viewer-curated streaming news show. What does that mean? That means I log on to a stream and people tweet me articles over on Twitter at Ron Placone, or they use our Reddit subsection, which is just Get Your News On with Ron over on Reddit. And that's how we build the show. I'm seeing all these articles for the first time. We are literally getting our news on together. Follow me on Twitter at Ron Placone so you can participate. And this show streams live every Tuesday through Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So please do tune in. If you want to support this show, you can do so over on patreon.com/Ron Placone, where for as low as $1 a month, you get access to exclusive podcasts every week, exclusive videos, free tickets to shows when I'm performing in your town, and more for as low as $1 a month. Please do consider it. Thank you so much for your support. This has been Get Your News On with Ron.